hope it doesn't rain. It's cloudy out. Let's see. We shall see. We can do this. Uninterrupted. It's kind of dark, huh? It's funny because I was walking over here and the sun was out, and I get here and the sun just disappears. Where did the sun go? Where did the sun go, guys? It's okay as long as it doesn't rain. Came to the park. So, let's talk for a little bit. I actually want to revisit a comment that was left on my post on my video yesterday. About it being a man's responsibility to keep his partner intrigued. And it's a woman's responsibility to keep a man intrigued. This is what was left on my video. This was the comment that was made in my video. And I completely disagree with that. Hope you guys can hear me. But I definitely disagree with that because I don't think it's our responsibility to keep our partner happy. That's just my perspective. And I look at the comment, I look at the word intrigue as synonymous to happy, right? Like, I don't think it's a person's responsibility to keep another person happy. Now, if you guys, let me know what you think about that. What's up, Denver? I'm trying to see it. Can you guys see me okay? Hopefully. I had to go somewhere to hide from the squirrels because these squirrels would devour my little lunch here. My brunch. Breaking my fast. I actually want to lay down. I remember when I first started doing my YouTube videos, I would lay down in my bed and talk to you guys. I haven't done that in so long. I should come out here and recruit for my research study, huh? It's raining in St. Lucia. I think when I checked the weather forecast, I think it said it was going to rain here. It's like a beautiful day. I think it's just over 10 o'clock. It's goddamn truck would want to come. Loud ass. There's always some loud shit going on in New York. I probably should have went to Central Park. The Central Park is bigger, and there's a lot more places you can get like tucked off. I put this shit in the microwave for too long. I put it in there for 1 minute though. What was my first impression about my partner? Come on, man, I'm doing a video. I'm single. What do you mean? I'm single. I don't have a partner. Come on, man. Go, I'm doing the video. Thank you. Gotta scoot down so I can see. Abraham, I swear your comments be so off topic. Like, not off topic, but they don't have no kind of relevance, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe you're like asking it wrong. Now the sun comes back out. There goes the sun. I'm going to answer your question. I'm finished chewing my food up. The sun is like, boom, shining right down. But I could move a little bit over here. So I might do, I might move a little bit over. I'm trying to be able to see you guys. Stay right here, I won't be able to see. I'm coming, I'm about to put this up. I'm gonna move a couple feet this way. And we're gonna get into this topic.
Y cuando juego, que veo el número,
all right. Good. Here. think this is a little bit better. I think it's better. All right. Hey, what do you say? Yeah, I talked to Fred for a little bit this morning. He's at work. He was on his break, or he's headed to work. But we didn't talk. We didn't really get into it. I just gave him an update. Let's see. Can't get comfortable. There's a such thing as getting comfortable on the ground. All right, let me see. Let's get into this. If you're with someone and you're not happy due to the acts of the other, there is no fulfillment. One person not happy, the other don't care. One is trying to make things work, the other don't care. It's all about what kind of relations you have. So please explain about why two grown adults can't try to make each other happy, striving to please each other, so the bond can be stronger. Intrigue meaning interested, joy, loving, being with that person. Okay. When I went live, I had just actually got to the park, and I took like a walk all the way to the top, and I came back down. But I walked, I think, 2 miles to get here, so I am toasty. This is the reason why I say that you cannot make a person, your partner, happy. It's not, I wouldn't say you can't do it, but I would say it's not your responsibility, right? Because I kind of touched upon this yesterday in my video. I think people come into relationships with all kinds of issues, right? Some issues that they are aware of, some issues they're not aware of. And some people, I mean, we're human beings, right? So it happens to all of us, right? We have our mood swings, you know. We're fine one minute, the next minute we're not, you know. That's life, right? Like, our mood isn't supposed to stay the same. Like, if you find a person, because I used to work at a psych hospital, right? And there was this guy, he was always happy. Always, like, you know, because I would go around, I would do group therapy, and I would go around the room and check in with everybody in the group to see how they're doing. And every time I got to him, he was like, oh, I'm great, I'm happy. You know, not that there's nothing wrong with being happy, but, you know, I don't think that was a realistic answer, because you can't always be happy. And I challenged him, I said, you're always happy? Oh, I'm happy. I'm always happy. It's just not normal. I mean, the reason being is that emotions vary, right? And they vary depending on external circumstances and internal circumstances too. So you can have a thought where we think about something and we get sad, you know, we get upset, we get angry. We're supposed to have a range of emotions. If happiness is the only emotion that you feel, and also the only emotion that you can express, there's a problem. So I'm coming around to that in a minute, but I have to lay the groundwork, right? So, and some people, I think, especially within certain cultures, like, we have been conditioned to the point where it's not okay to express, like, the bad emotions, so to speak, right? Or the negative emotions, which no emotion really is negative, you know? It's just every emotion is an expression of being a human being, you know, humanity, right? No matter if it's joy, if it's happiness, if it's sadness, disappointment, anger, frustration, guilt, it's just part of being a human being. So it's okay to experience and express all different kinds of emotions. So no one person is happy all the time. Yet, having said that, as it relates to this topic, we all experience different emotions. So there are days we may be sad or upset, and different things can trigger us, right? The different things can bring out different emotions in us. And so whether it could be something that's happening in the current, a thought that you have reflecting on the past, or thinking about something that's going to happen in the future, it brings out different emotions in us. So to say that it's a partner's responsibility to keep the other person happy, no, I think, yes, to a certain extent, there's an expectation, kind of unwritten expectation in relationships, that you are accountable for the other person's health, I guess you can say. Like, health is kind of like the overarching thing, right? You know, it's like the umbrella to our emotions. And so if you care about another person, right, then you would be concerned about their health. And their health consists not only of their physical health, how they're doing on a physical, biological level, but also how they're doing psychologically, emotionally, right? How are they feeling, right? You would be concerned about that. But is it your responsibility, though? Is that your responsibility? That's the question here I'm asking you guys. Ibrahim, what are you talking about? Ibrahim, your questions are kind of off base. Are you asking that question in general, or like to the audience, the general audience? Or are you asking that question directly to me? Because I just said I'm not dating anyone, so what the hell are you talking about? So Denver, you're of the persuasion that you can keep your partner happy. Now, I was thinking about this. Topic a little bit. And what came up for me as I was thinking about whether or not we can keep our partner happy, or even if it's our responsibility to, what came up was the 5 love languages, which some of you guys probably heard. I just want to go jump in a pool right now, guys. Because guess what? It's what time? It is, oh my God, it's 11. Yes, it's like approaching the heat of the day. It's approaching the heat of the day. 12 o'clock is like the hottest. 12:02 is like the hottest part of the day. But thank God there is a breeze. Thank God I have my water here. So what came up for me was the 5 love languages, which is a theory that was developed by this marriage and family therapist, I think back in the 90s. And he said that there are typically 5 love languages that are inherent in relationships. He says that there is, it's always work. They're always working. The park people are out here working, driving trucks, picking up limbs and branches and stuff like that. So the 5 love languages, he says, are affirmation. It's affirmation, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and what was the other one? And I think affection is one. And so basically he's saying that those are the ways that people would like to be treated by their partner, and that's essentially would make them happy. If a person, and it depends on the person, because we all have, according to him, we all have different love languages, right? So out of those 5 love languages, which one do you guys feel that you more closely identify with. For me, I've already talked about this before. I don't think that I fall into any one of those 5 categories necessarily. I think it's more on how a person expresses those languages to me, right? So yes, I mean, I could say that I like quality time more than any of the other 4 love languages. Out of the 5 love languages, I think I prefer quality time, because time is just something that you really can't buy. You can try, you can't give it back. Once a person has given you their time, that's it. They can't get that time back. It's something very sacred, very special. But I think it's not so much the time that a person gives, it's how they give that time, how they express that time towards me that matters. I'm not answering your questions, Ibrahim, because I don't have no idea if you're talking to me or if you're just asking in general. Seems like you're like having a conversation with yourself. Because some of your questions are kind of off base. Okay, why do people link up? Why do they break up? Being grown, what is one seeking when you get in a relationship if you're not responsible to make sure that person is fulfilled? See, I think this is the issue. I think that's the reason why there's so many breakups, right? And according to the marital statistics, and this has been a statistic, this statistic has been pretty much the same ever since I was in undergraduate school. Because I did my thesis in undergraduate school when I was at Florida State University. We had to do a research study for my research methods class, and I did mine on marital divorce and satisfaction in adults of divorced parents, right? And I remember it being 1 out of every 2. That was a statistic. 1 out of every 2 marriages end in divorce. That's 50% of marriages end in divorce. We're talking about the United States. Fast forward, I did another research study in my PhD program. Within the past couple years, same statistic, you guys. You can look it up. That stat has not changed. And it is alarming that we have 1 out of every 2 marriages in the U.S. end in divorce. And you look up the reason, they say the reason is due to financial reasons, right? It's related to financial difficulties. That's just like a broad kind of excuse. I guess maybe they did a survey and they asked what was the reason. But it's always something underneath that, right? That's like the surface level reason. What is beneath the finances? I think deeper than finances, I think it has to do with false expectations, right? Like, you set yourself up. One quick and easy way to set yourself up for disappointment in any relationship is to have a false expectation. We got to get out of that. Why do you expect your partner to keep you happy? You said, what's the reason of getting together? You don't get with a person. Who am I to say, right? Because we all have different terms by which we involve ourselves with people, right? Like, you live based on your own terms, right? It's not one person's, nobody can dictate what somebody else should do or shouldn't do, right? But me having experienced a lot of relationships and also being in the field of psychology and studying human behavior, and just through my research, guys, you set yourself up for failure when you have these expectations of a person that are very unrealistic. A person cannot, your partner will never be able to keep you happy. And the reason being is because happiness is something that comes from within. That's like saying that you look on the outside for someone to validate your self-worth. Self-worth, self comes from within. Self. You cannot look on the outside for someone to validate your self-worth. It's not realistic. It's superficial. A person can give, like if your love language is gifts, the person can give you gifts, all right? That may make you feel like, okay, I have, more self-worth. I feel special, right? But no, inherently, at the bottom of it, your self-worth comes from within. You should not seek validation about how much you are worth from the outside. That's a huge problem. It's a big problem if you do that. If you rely on external sources to make you feel like you're somebody. And even beyond that, as it relates to this topic, to make you feel happy. That's a big no-no, and that's the reason why relationships don't work oftentimes, because you are relying on somebody for something that they cannot fulfill. They cannot. I mean, for you religious folks now, let's look at it this way. For you religious folks who are into the Bible, I have to break it down in terms you guys can relate to. And I know some of you guys can relate to religion. For you guys to think that if God can't make you happy, right? A lot of y'all pray to God, and sometimes your prayers don't get answered for whatever reason. And so you are disappointed. If God cannot fulfill your need, so to speak, right? And you have some people say, oh, well, it's just about not, he may not come when you want him, but he's going to come, right? So you leave it up to God to decide if it's meant for you to have whatever it is you're asking of him. But there are a lot of disgruntled Christians, unhappy Christians, who are waiting on God to fulfill whatever it is that they need, whether it's money, you need, a well-paying job, or a sustainable business, or a life partner, whatever it is you feel that you need to be happy, and you prayed and you still ain't got it. If God can't make you happy, and God is the supreme being, right? He's supposed to be the supreme being of all the world. He's all-powerful, all-knowing. But he can't make you happy sometimes, right? Sometimes he does. What makes you think a human being who is filled with many flaws can keep you happy? It's just... you're putting way too much. That's way too much responsibility on another person to keep you happy. They're not going to keep you happy. You guys can do certain things together that are fun, for the time being, though. In the moment, it may be fun, it may be exciting, right? Whatever it is you like to. For me, I like to go to museums. I like to do, nature stuff or art-related things. Go to museums, go to the park, go to the beach. I like to travel. I like to taste out food at different restaurants. Those are some things that may bring a smile to my face. But I don't rely on a partner to do those things for me necessarily, to put that smile on my face, if that makes sense. I'm already happy outside of being with a partner or with a person. My happiness comes from within. Because when you think about an emotion, right? Happiness, right, is an emotion. It's a state of being. It's a mental state. It's an emotional state. there's so many factors, so many things that factor into that mental state or emotional state that you have, it being called happiness. Some people can get all these external things and they're still not happy. Because happiness can't come from the outside. It doesn't, you guys. We can argue this all day. And you make a big mistake by assuming that a person is able to keep you happy. Your partner can, yes, be concerned about your well-being, like I said earlier. Can be concerned about your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health by saying, hey babe, how are you doing? What's going on? I see that, you haven't looked at me today, or you haven't, smiled, or you're a little bit different today. And you acknowledge that you see them, right? And you check in on them. But it doesn't mean that it's going to make them happy. And let's go with that, okay? Let's go with your belief that it's your job to make a person happy. Let's go with that. Let's explore that possibility. That yes, you can make your partner happy and it's your responsibility. All right. Can you just imagine the chaotic situation that will result from you setting that responsibility on yourself and you laying that precedent in a relationship? Can you imagine the drama that will unfold by you putting that responsibility on yourself? Let's say, for example, myself. I had that belief system, right? I had the ideology where I went into a relationship and I expected a man, my partner, it's his responsibility to keep me happy. Do you know the amount of manipulation? Do you know the degree of manipulation that is within the power of my hands? If I went in with that premise, I went in with that belief system, and not only did I go in with that belief system, but I also imposed that on my partner and let him know, like, hey, we had this discussion and told him it's your responsibility to keep me happy. And he believed that. He was not even secure within himself. He didn't even have enough confidence within himself to know that it's not his responsibility to keep me happy. But he somehow believed that it was his role in the relationship. That's his role, to keep me happy. Dude would be in for a rude awakening. And a lot of people, damn, they said black people beat their kids. He just gave her kid an ass whooping. This white man just turned his daughter over and beat her ass. Do you know? Because a lot of people do that. A lot of women do that. And it's usually the woman who's expecting a man to keep her. And some, like vice versa too, we all have different needs, right? So the woman may say, oh, I want him to keep me happy. That means he gotta buy me gifts on my birthday. Every time my birthday come around, gotta buy me a gift. And then special occasions too, he gotta buy me a gift. He gotta get my hair done, gotta make sure that, he paid for my hair appointments. And I like lace fronts, that cost $200-300, so he definitely gotta do that. He gotta keep my nails done. I like my acrylic on my nails. He gotta keep my nails done. I like Louis Vuitton. I like Gucci purses. I like all the finest, most expensive brands. He gotta make sure he gotta keep me decked down in those brands to keep me happy, right? Not only that, I love to travel. I like to go to expensive countries. I like the finest things in life. He gotta be able to afford to pay for my vacations to go to these very expensive countries. And I like to travel at least 4 times a year. 4 times, no less than 4 times a year. That's what's going to, if he can't do all of that, then I don't want him because he can't keep me happy. Just point blank. So then you got these men who don't even probably value himself, right? Usually that's how it works. He don't even value himself. He goes to all of this extreme to keep this woman happy, not even knowing that that's not a recipe. It's not even a good equation, because it's never going to work, right? But he buys into that belief, and he does those things. Don't, little bird, don't come over here. Yeah, go that way. He buys into that belief that he can do those things, and he tries, and he does. For the first year, he's able to maintain, but, you know, it's killing his pockets, right? I mean, he's struggling. He make a decent income, but he's struggling a little bit to be able to maintain that. And then the second year comes around, and he's just like, man, you know what? Like, I don't think, you know, it's killing me. I'm putting in overtime, trying to maintain this lifestyle to keep her happy. When you think about it, what is this person to her? What has he become? He's not even a person anymore. He's more like an object that can be replaced, because the moment he's not able to do those things, whether he's not able to because of financial reasons, or he chooses not to do those things, guess what? The dynamic in the relationship is going to change. And because she has placed her happiness in the hands of somebody else who can't really make her happy, because that's just not, nobody can make you happy. Happiness comes from within. But she believes that she takes her disappointment and anger out on him. And he invested well over $200,000-$300,000 on her within a span of 2 years, and all that money just went down the drain. She's not even at a point where she's just not happy. She's infuriated. She is disgusted with him. Like, she wakes up and looks at him like, ugh, you are pathetic, right? And y'all may think that this is an exaggeration, but no, this is real life. This is things that actually happen in relationships, right? Because we make the mistake of tying our happiness to somebody else who just will not be able to fulfill that role. That's not their responsibility. You're not really looking for love in that example. Woman isn't really looking for love. She's looking for a do-boy. Looking for a sugar daddy, you know. To each his own. I'm not here to judge, but we got to be clear. It's important to communicate and to have an understanding and to be clear on what it specifically is that you want, because you're not really looking for love. You're just looking for somebody to buy you things, and you saying that your happiness is tied to those material things. Like, I'm not here to judge, but let's just call it for what it is. That's what makes you happy. Because different things make different people happy, right? Meredith, if you can't make yourself happy, how somebody else can? If you can't make, I don't know what you're trying to say. If you can't do it, somebody else can. What is love? First, define what love is from your position. You have grown folks acting like kids. A grown-up should not play with another's time or feelings. Don't waste people's time. Good question. What is love? What is love? I can tell you what love is in my perspective. I mean, love involves commitment and loyalty. Like, I was talking with somebody who knows my best friend, and I said that I can tell, yes, he loves me. Now, we're not together, but we are best friends, and we do communicate, we do talk, right? And I know it's love because, like, love is something that stands the test of time. You know, a lot of times people say, oh, they love me. Just because you have a feeling about a person doesn't mean that it's love. Love supersedes feelings, you know. It definitely goes beyond feeling. The affection that you have towards someone, that feeling, that mystical feeling that you have. Please don't let your dog pee over here while please don't do that. While like when you meet somebody, right, and it's like, oh, so-called love at first sight, and you feel that thing on the inside. Um, that can like lead to you falling in love with somebody because your defenses are lower, your inhibitions are lower, right? You fall in love, but falling in love and loving somebody is two different things. Definitely two different things. You can fall in love, which means it's like you kind of submit to that person's will, so to speak. You submit to being with that person and committing to that person. But I just think that a lot of shit goes wrong in relationships because we just have false expectations and miscommunication. You'll be surprised how misaligned people can be in relationships when you think that you and that person are here, but y'all really not, because it stands the test of time. Time will tell. Different life experiences will tell if you guys are really on the same page, and the whole time you think y'all on the same page, y'all seeing eye to eye, when you're really not, and you just like looking at a person like, are you the same person that I was in love with? You don't be, because your mind, like, we create the false perception in our mind just based on a couple things that a person may say or do, and we just like, oh, she loves me, he loves me, and no, that's your interpretation. You assign that value to what they did or said and said it was love, but it may not have been love in their book. Y'all typing too fast for me. If you make this into self-happiness, then one should remain single. You can't have the mindset that I will not make the effort to make it, at least make sure my love interest is feeling joy, being with me or around me. It's not Giovanni, that's what I'm saying. And then, so the example I gave was from like the female's perspective, right? Women, like they said, women like to be pampered, right? You know, women like the finer things in life. Women like to be pampered. And what do men like? So let's flip it, right? Let's flip it and give a different example. And of course, this is not applied to all men, but this is just an example where you have a guy who may say, well, I like for dinner to be made every single day when I come home from work. I like the house to be clean, my clothes to be done, my laundry, all of that, my clothes to be ironed for work, and I like sex 3 times a day or whenever I feel like it, right? To a lot of men, that's a good woman. I know y'all seen this meme on social media that says, ask a man to describe what's a good woman and watch him define a slave, you know? So as long as the two people can agree on that's what you want and that's what your role is in that relationship, but that still doesn't mean that it's going to make you happy, though, or fulfilled. And I have a big issue. You guys know I'm on a dating site, and I've read profiles of men who say, oh, I'm looking for someone to complete me, right? And I'm just like, oh no, I go the other way when I see things like that, because I'm like, a person cannot complete you. You should already be complete. I'm not looking for an incomplete person. Two complete people should come together, not incomplete. No, we're not perfect. But you should, when I say complete, you should be fulfilled within your own self. You should be able to stand like on your own feet. And you like your happiness, you should already be at a point where you can be happy. So when you're meeting somebody, like, they should be happy. If their happiness is dependent upon them falling in love with you and all of a sudden, oh, they become happy, that's a toxic relationship. That's toxic. Trust. It's not gonna go well. That's what we call dependency. Codependent relationship. And yes, those relationships usually hit it off real quick in the beginning, right? It's like you fall in love, you say like, oh, we bonded, like right away, it was love at first sight, because you guys were codependent, you need each other to a fault. But then it becomes draining. That's the problem. There's a lot wrong with that kind of thinking, to say that your partner should make you happy or your partner should complete you. Because that shit can be very draining, and you wonder why there's so much toxicity, there's so much chaos, drama, and problems that arise. And yes, those things are constant in every relationship, but it doesn't have to be to that extent, though. Because sometimes it gets to the point where, yes, it leads to a breakup because it's just too much. When a relationship becomes so toxic that it negatively impacts your health, then it's time to get up out of there. Like, you have no choice. As much as you want to stay and you love that person, your health would not allow you to. Your sanity is not going to allow you to stay, because first and foremost, you must love yourself. Intuitively, you're going to do what's best for yourself, and that is stepping away from what is not serving you as an individual. You have to step away from that and heal, because that relationship now has become so draining upon you. Some men are looking for housemaids, a chef, a mother, all of that in one person. You're looking for this woman to fulfill all those roles, then yet they still have this expectation that they want her to provide 50-50. And you wonder why it doesn't work. And then sometimes the same men say, oh, well, my mom, she did it. But your mom was single. And my mom, she worked, she paid all the bills. Yeah, but she didn't have a man in the house. She was forced to do that. So they assume just because their mom struggled to that extent, then they have this expectation of their female partner, or potential female partner, to also bust her ass and work 2 jobs. And then on top of that, cook and clean and fulfill all these roles. And it's just like, okay, you're happy, your needs are met, but how are her needs met? Oh, I gave her the dick. Dick? Y'all, that's old school thinking. Women don't need dick. What make y'all think dick is a prize? I tell men all the time, like, dick is not a prize. They be saying, oh, I want friends with benefits. Dick is not a benefit, guys. It's just not. Both people should be on the same page. What is the reason you're connecting with that person? We have different reasons why you may want to connect. I told you, you asked me about goals. So what is the goal of the relationship? And I said yesterday in my video that, well, obviously my primary goal, being that I'm 36 and no kids, would be to procreate, But beyond that, yes, it's to establish a bond with the person that I can live and grow with and build build financial wealth with, and leave a legacy behind. That's just what it is. But every relationship is different, You may have different needs. As long as nothing wrong with it, as long as both people agree. If a woman agrees to do all those things, to fulfill the desires of that man, and vice versa, the man agrees that, I can do that, I can meet those expectations, then if it works for that couple, it works for that couple. But oftentimes, that's usually it's not communicated clearly in relationships, and people go in thinking that is just what a man is supposed to do, or that's what a woman is supposed to do, like an unspoken or unwritten rule. And no, we need to talk about this. There ain't nothing unspoken, unwritten. Then you got to have a conversation about this. What you assuming in your mind, you got to talk about it. People jump in relationships, and the physical leads, and they are attracted to a person, physically, and they kissing and hugging and end up in the bedroom, and that may be all fine and dandy, but the truth of the matter is, will that stand the test of time? Because what usually, our back is just blown away. Because what usually determines if a relationship is going to last is how compatible. That's what it boils down. How compatible are they to each other? And they may just not be compatible. And another thing is so many different aspects, ways you can look at this topic. So when it comes to fulfillment of a partner, right? I think it works best, because I get what you're saying. You want to find somebody who can compliment you, right? Who can fulfill your desires or expectations or whatever. And I don't think it's so much finding some random person and then saying, oh, this is what I like, and then somehow expecting them to meet you there. No. Because I don't think nobody gets into a relationship with expectation that like it's a duty. Like, now they signed up for a job. You signed up for it, like, to do all X, Y, and Z and all this stuff. No. So, I think it's better to seek out a person who already has those qualities within them. That's what it means to be compatible. Oh, don't bring your behind. Please don't come over here, man. 'Cause I ain't with that shit. I ain't with it. Don't come over here. I don't do them motherfucking squirrels, man. I do not do squirrels. See you over there. Yeah, I think it's better to find somebody who already has those traits within them, right? There are men who are givers, for example. There are men who like to provide for a woman. I think it's unfair, and it's really going to be a waste of your time for a woman to try to make a man be a provider if that's not like already in him. If those traits or qualities are already within a person, then it's going to be like a match made in heaven, because the things that you are seeking that is going to fulfill your needs, and vice versa, your partner is seeking that's going to fulfill their needs. If it's already within you guys, then that match is going to be a seamless match made in heaven. But, to the contrary, if you're going to go out and you're going to try to and think that all different men, so don't do that. Look at this motherfucker, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see, man. And you want to eat, but then they're going to drop off. Like, seriously, man. They always want to come around. I ain't got no food for you, man. I don't. But yeah, if you can find a partner who already has those things and y'all can just meet and, you know, happily ever after. I don't like you up there, like, looking down at me like that, you know what I'm saying? You all up over there. I know how y'all be. Then it'll work. But if you're trying to assume that every man, like if a woman tries to assume that, oh, every man is going to be that way, every man is going to be a provider and have those characteristics, then, see, they all coming, y'all. It's like, I'm about to move because I don't like y'all, like, all up on me like this. And there's another one there. Just get away. These squirrels. Just, yeah, because I don't want y'all thinking I'm friendly and I don't like y'all touching me or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just go on about your business. Yeah, go on about your business. Go on over there. Yeah. Thank you. Squirrel, something else. I remember I was at Washington D.C. I was at the White House. And I went to the park over there, the monument, and freaking squirrels came up on the bench and stole my ice cream, yo. Like, literally took my ice cream. And say, what you see is what you get. Giovanni, where are you from? Did you probably already told me this already? Where are you from? I see you over there, peeping. Where are you from? How people stay married for 50 years or more. Is this love? Is this making an effort to keep each other fulfilled? You gotta ask those people who've been married 50 years. That definitely would be a really good survey or a good research study to do, or even a good documentary to go around and survey um, like 25 couples and see, you know, what's worked for them. You don't even need 25, maybe like 10 couples to see. I think different things work for different people. But I don't know if it's keeping them happy though. I think if anything is commitment. I think commitment is stronger than so-called keeping a person happy. You can't keep nobody happy. You can't make nobody happy. That's the case. I damn sure won't be getting married because I'm not here to keep nobody happy. Just not it. I'm not here to keep nobody happy. No, no, no. I mean, I think I can please somebody. I know how to please a partner. Like, you know, pleasure. But to be responsible for that person's happiness, no. That happiness is within them. That's them, you know. I can check up on them to see like, oh, hey, how's your day? You know. And definitely support them. I'm not saying that, okay, just get in a relationship and not be helpful and not be supportive. Yes, I can support a person. I'm here to support. But I'm not responsible for your happiness because your happiness, don't come over here. Please don't come over here, man. I want my own peace. Go over there. Oh, you in Brooklyn, New York, Flatbush, Rutland Road, the 90s. Why are you saying the 90s, though? Are you still there? You saying the 90s as if that's where you used to stay back in the 90s. But I'm talking about, I said, where you at now? That's where you from, okay. But I meant to say, where are you? Oh, so y'all behind me now. You know, see, I don't. It's the thing about coming out in nature, though. When you out in nature, yes, I love nature, but sometimes nature can feel that love that you have for it, and then they want to, like, all the animals just want to come and gravitate towards you. I don't be doing these animals like that. Son, I don't. Where are you at now? Cool part. But they do need to do more maintenance on this part, though. Feels a lot better now. It's a breeze and the sun is hiding behind the clouds. I don't know, maybe it's not gonna rain. Kind of brighten up a little bit. But they say like relationships take a lot of work, right? I think when you to revisit your question about how couples who have been married for 50 years, how what worked for them. I would say that's like just commitment, loyalty. Not so much keeping a person happy. You don't have to keep a person happy to be committed to them. In fact, you can do the quite opposite. You can be their worst nightmare and piss them the fuck off, but they might like that. Some people like that kind of dysfunction, chaos, arguing all the time, drama, and just be committed to that person. Be loyal. And then you can work out like that for 50 years. Just, you know? People I think, because people inherently desire companionship. And so, with companionship, just wanting to have somebody, just to know that you got somebody there. You know? They don't have to really make you happy, just to know that I got them there. For whatever reason you feel that you may need them to be there. Maybe just to talk to listen to you, to care about you. They don't have to do anything above that. Just be there. Oh, you're in Brooklyn. That's what's up. To be their worst nightmare, I'm telling you. Be their worst nightmare, but usually it's like those intense relationships like that. Those are the ones that people remember the most. And they remember it and they savor it, As intense and traumatic as it is, they remember it and they cling to it. It gives them a sense of excitement and purpose. Like you were talking about, nobody wants a boring partner. But you can create your own excitement too, though. It's like when you're going out to a party and people say, oh, this party is boring. It can be 100 people there, but you say it's boring. Well, why can't you bring the excitement? Why are you looking for somebody else to bring the excitement that you can create? That's what I believe. You can create your own excitement. Why should somebody be responsible for creating that for you? I didn't get bullied away. Sometimes I let the squirrels bully me into leaving, but I did not get bullied away this time. I stood my ground. I feel so proud of myself. Yes. This is a really good topic. That's the reason why I decided to revisit it today, because it's a really good topic. But I think that's the problem. Yeah, people, just to wrap it up, I think people sometimes just be looking for somebody that can fulfill. Oftentimes, this is the reason why I also say it's a problem, because people be searching, subconsciously searching and craving somebody who can fulfill things that, or voids that they had as a result of what was missing from their childhood. So if a person did not grow up with affection or validation, then you're going to seek a person who's going to always give you affection and a validation. And that's not, I don't think that's a person's job to do that. Because they will never be able to fulfill a void that was supposed to be fulfilled and met when you were young. So let's say a man who grew up without his mother, right? I don't care how many women he may get. And usually that's the reason why you have men that want all these women, and they got so many women. They crave all these women, the female energy, because they didn't have that growing up. And even if a woman could have been physically present, she may not have been psychologically and emotionally there. And they crave that growing up in their adulthood. But the trick is that a man will never be able to get the love that he was supposed to have as a child, as an adult. He will never get it, because why? He was supposed to have it as a child. There's different developmental milestones that a child is supposed to experience growing up with both parents. And if they do not experience those milestones growing up, they just won't experience it. You can try to recreate it as an adult, but it's not the same. It's like chasing after the wind. You chasing after something that you will never quite be able to get your hands on. And you may come across experiences that may give you a sense of resemblance to what your heart desires, right? The thing that you missed growing up as a child, but it's just not gonna be the same, because guess what? Intuitively, our soul, our spirit knows the difference. So a man can go out and chase and try to beat all these women and seek that love and affection that his mother was supposed to give him, but she wasn't able to give him for whatever reason. She just wasn't there. He's never going to be able to get it. He's never going to be happy. Never. He may come close. It may come close to a superficial love, but it's never going to be quite the same. It's not. Same thing with a girl, growing up without a father. It's never going to be the same. A bottomless void that he or she is expecting their partner to fulfill, and it's a false expectation. And they're so needy. Just imagine the amount of drain. They're so needy, and yes, rightfully so. They're needy because they have this void that stems from childhood. You can tell when something is a little off, like abnormal. You can tell. Naturally, even in a healthy person, a person who, had a healthy childhood, which really nobody, did anybody have a perfect childhood? I don't care if you grew up in the most financially stable household with both parents. I mean, we all have our generational curses, no matter what culture, race you're from. No matter what geographical region you grew up in, we all come with our flaws and with generational curses. And so that's just the problem we run into. Trying to fill some void that was supposed to be met in childhood, which will never be met because we've already passed that developmental stage, but we're trying to get that need met by an adult partner. That's the reason why I say it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna seek a compassionate person. That's the best thing I'm gonna take from this. Seek a woman that identifies with me. Yeah, seek some. Your soul will know. Your soul will know what's right for you, and you can definitely find somebody who can complement what it is that you're looking for. Compliment you as a person. Compliment your energy, because that's what we're really talking about. We're talking about finding an energy force that can sit well with your energy. You'll know. And the problem, I think, the reason why you got men, even women like myself sometimes, could be so successful and be physically attractive according to societal standards, and like, oh, well, why are you single? How is a man like him single with all that stuff? Because I think sometimes we look for a person to be packaged a certain way, physically on the outside, or with certain attributes that we have been conditioned to believe that is going to lead to a successful relationship, but it's not really about that. It's really about the energy of a person. So we think that our soulmate may come dressed 6'2", for example, 220 pounds, with a six-figure bank account. Or for a man, he may think that his soulmate is going to come dressed 5'5", thick in the thighs. I don't know what y'all like. Long hair, curly hair, no kids, a certain skin complexion, but it just sometimes doesn't go that way. You gotta really get in tune with nature, get in tune with yourself, the universe. When you are really that's why it's good to be single. I'm about to wrap this video up, but that's why it's good to be single, because singlehood allows you to get to know yourself, get to know who you are outside of an individual. I made a post the other day to say that yes, I love my black men, I do, but I'm very thankful and very grateful and glad that my self-worth is not tied to one, because I have self-worth independent of me being in a relationship with anybody or being attached to anything, any institution, anybody. Like, I know who I am as a person. I value myself, and my happiness is not dependent upon me being in a relationship with someone. Yes, not to say, okay, when I find my soulmate, I'm not going to be happy. Of course I'm going to be happy, yes. But I'm happy regardless, though. If I find my soulmate or if I don't, which of course I believe I will. But it's like, I'm happy. You should already be happy outside of that. I'm already a complete person. I already have self-worth. I value who I am, independent of anything. Independent of money, too. Some people say, I can't wait till I become a six-figure person, become a millionaire. I'll be happy then. No, be happy now. Be happy now. And then when you get those things, it's just going to be a bonus. And trust and believe, when you're already a complete person, independent of anything else, whenever that thing that which you desire comes into your life, whether it's a partner or, better paying job, sustainable business, whatever it is, it's just going to be a bonus to your life. you know. And if it's a person that comes into your life when you're already a whole person, like that, you're gonna attract, first of all, you're gonna attract a full person. When you are a whole person, you're gonna attract another whole person. When you are empty inside and you have all these voids that need to be filled, you're gonna attract toxic energy, and it's not gonna end well. It never does. And you're gonna be hurt because that you're gonna think, okay, this person presumably initially comes across as if they can fill that void, and then you realize, you get disappointed, you realize the void is still there, and you blame them when it's not their responsibility to fulfill the void that was created from your childhood or from your life path trajectory that you experienced in your life before they even came a part of your life. That's not that person's responsibility. So that's where we go wrong. I think not just women put up barricades, Giovanni. I think men, people in general, put up barricades, you know, because we protect ourselves. I was just having this conversation with an associate yesterday, is that, you know, when you know that you have something valuable, you know who you are, you're going to protect it. And sometimes the stronger the barricade, the more you value that which you're trying to protect, you know. I think, and it also comes with age too, and with experience. And when you're younger, not that younger people don't value themselves, but they just don't have the experience. They're not really tainted in certain ways, so they're more open to new experiences, whereas older people sometimes are more shut down to new experiences because of bad experiences that they've been tainted by, you know, on top of learning from those experiences and coming to value themselves and knowing that, okay, if they're going to allow somebody in their life, then they're going to make sure this person is worth that struggle, right? Because you just don't want to give yourself away to anybody, because people take advantage. You know, no one wants to get hurt. You want to make sure that they can appreciate your heart. And even the Bible talks about this from a religious perspective. The Bible talks about guard your heart, right? It's the reason why you are instructed to guard your heart. Your heart is very sacred, you know. It's tied to your livelihood, not just on the physical level, but on a spiritual level. When you give yourself away, your heart away to people, you know, and it's not the right person, they take advantage. Like, you can be left empty, empty and sad and depressed and feeling worthless, and that's not what you want. So I think it's worth being patient. Love is worth being patient for. They say love is patient, but it's also worth being patient for. You'll wait for love. You're not going to rush it. You wait for it. And you'll know. The universe will let you know. Sometimes you just know, like you have that intuition. You know that you know, like, damn, this is the one. And you know. And I think on another level, in terms of, you say why women in particular have a barricade, because I think women we've been socialized to believe that men are the hunters, right? And women are the prey. And women like to feel like they're preyed upon sometimes anyway, where like we are worth chasing. We are the prize, you know? And to see if a man is really worth it, to see if a man is willing to jump certain hurdles. Sometimes we create a test in our minds to see if a man is worth it, right? To see how much he's willing to go, how many hurdles he's willing to jump over. And if a woman puts up, let's say, one hurdle, right? Figuratively speaking, she puts up like one hurdle and he's not even willing to jump over that hurdle, then is he even worth it, right? And so she may put up another, if he's willing to jump over that hurdle, then she may put up another hurdle. So it's two hurdles, right? And like, okay, he jumped those. Like, all right. So now she's kind of developing more interest because she sees that this man is willing to kind of fight, which correlates to his level of interest in her, and also how serious he is, you know, because some guys, you know, we all know people can just be in it for different reasons, right? But I even said before, like, shit, men go through a whole obstacle course just to get some pussy and bounce. So I think sometimes women create these false assessments in their mind, ways of assessing to see, oh, well, is he only interested in sex, or if he is, you know, in it for the long run, right? For commitment, for real reasons, right? Sustainable reasons. And in our minds, sometimes we create these false narratives to believe that, you know, just because a man is willing to jump over 10 hurdles, then that is an expression of his love and commitment, you know, or a level of investment in a relationship, and that's not necessarily true. You can't expect, you must observe this, is if one sees that this person is not, and then move on so you can find that person God is for you. Exactly. You know, just wait it out, be patient. And then sometimes it may just be meant for you to walk alone. You know? You came in this world alone, you may die alone. It's okay. It's not the totality of your human experience here on earth. You know, being in a relationship or having a partner isn't the totality of your purpose here and who you are. And if you rest your existence upon the need to have a person to live your day-to-day life with, then you're just gonna be lonely, you know, lonely, desiring something that you may never really get your hands on, right? And then you lose appreciation for life because your happiness is dependent upon getting your hands on this one thing that is like chasing after the wind that you're never going to really catch in your hands, you know? So that's just not, that's not it, right? You miss the good things in life trying to chase something that sometimes isn't even worth it. Okay, you can get a life partner, right? You may be with them for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but they're not going to be here forever. They may die before you. And so then you have to go through the whole grieving process of losing that person, right? It's ups and downs. It's advantages and disadvantages to it all, right? Sometimes we think that being in a relationship, being in love is just the it, right? It's just everything. It's not everything. It has, lunch is now being served. What's that? They are. I think I've seen like this website on social media. They say they're giving out free lunches across New York City. That's good because of the pandemic. And so, like, I'm at this park. It has a pool, and they're making this announcement to say that lunch is now being served. It's pretty cool. I went to the website, and they said they were giving out like they had a menu. They show like what foods they were giving out. It's like sandwiches and fruits and cookies and chips. That's pretty cool. Because it was like, of course, people complain about the pandemic and, oh, it sucks and no work and that. It's like, y'all, we have to appreciate the little things in life. Can't get so caught up in, okay, the changes that are happening and what we lost. You know, like, for me, I always look at the positive side. Yes, of course, my eyes look at the bad, right? But if you focus, you can't like be fixated on that. You know, some people I noticed, like just looking at conversations on social media, they have become so fixated on the bad, the negative, um, about this pandemic, and they wonder why. Like, y'all wonder why you depressed and you wonder why you fucked up mentally, because that's what you focus on. Whatever you think, your thoughts affect your emotions. You know, it affects your state of being, and I choose not to do that. So it's just good to focus on the positive. I'm telling people, I gave the information to somebody that was complaining, like, oh, the pandemic, things are shut down, I lost my job and it sucks, and the whole politics behind the pandemic. And I'm just like, well, it's not all bad because they're giving out free food And then he just started complaining about that. Like, see, you can't please everybody. You can't make nobody happy, man. People choose to be upset, you know. People choose the opposite of happiness, right? You can't make nobody happy. It's not your job to make anybody happy. Because some people will put you through the ringer. If you believe that, if you believe like, oh, it's your job to make somebody happy, they're gonna put you through the ringer. Put your ass to work. Like a hamster on a freaking wheel. And they're gonna sit back and watch for entertainment purposes at your continuous failed attempts of making them happy. Like, it's pointless. It becomes a shit show, right? And I'm gonna end this by saying that even as a therapist, as a psychologist in training, like, yes, it is our job to assess patients, to diagnose, to treat. But at the end of the day, it's a relationship. Therapy is a relationship, right? And even on the medical side too, for medical doctors, it's similar, you know. Doctors can do but so much. It's up to people to take care of themselves. It's up for people to take the doctor's recommendations, right? To eat healthy, to exercise, to do what they're supposed to do. Likewise, within the same vein, in therapy, from a psychological perspective, it's important that patients follow the psychologist's recommendations too. Sometimes they don't. It's important that patients take care of themselves. Just, you know. So I say this to say that yes, I care about my patients, right? I care about the clients that I work with, that I treat. But on the same token, like, you know, it's up to them. And not to them, but it's up to the universe too. Sometimes we put like so many things in our hands when it's really beyond us. It's beyond our hands, you know. And yeah, you know, I learned this. So when I speak about these topics and stuff, I'm not only speaking from personal experience. I'm speaking from professional experience and just life, you know, and working with people. Um, no, I'm responsible, but only to a certain extent. Because at the end of the day, everybody is responsible for their own happiness, their own success, right? Their own prognosis and treatment from a treatment perspective. They're responsible for their own prognosis, how things are going to go. We work together. It's a collaboration. We work together. You know, I can support you in this process, but understand that you have the power, because one thing you don't want to do is take away someone's power. And if I own your happiness, then I control your happiness. I'm responsible for your happiness. And then you're going to blame me when you're not happy. And no matter if it's a personal relationship or a professional, I would never give someone that false perception that they don't have power over their own happiness and success. No, that power lies in your hands. I can assist you, but ultimately, you have the power. So I'm going to end on that note, and I'll catch you guys later.